Hey everyone, I'm in Guildwood Village Park with Tracy from Friends of Guildwood Village Park to talk about these super cool canoes right behind us. All right, Tracy, you gotta tell us about this. What are these things and how did they get here?
These are really neat. These are 3 canoes that were donated from different members of our community, and they're part of the David Suzuki Foundation Butterfly Way. And also sort of another part of what David Suzuki Foundation does is plant these canoes. There's 2 separate items, but we brought them together here.
Like the canoes and...
The Butterfly Way. So
2 projects in one?
Sort of. The canoes, there's a canoe project that goes on more on the west end of the city, where this young man, I forget his name, but it's on the David Suzuki Foundation website if you want to check it out, put canoes over ghost waterways. So parts of the city that used to have water, creeks, riverbeds that have disappeared. So he had this idea to plant canoes on the dry land that's now there to just sort of remember those waterways.
Yeah.
So we've sort of melded them together and planted the pollinator plants in those canoes.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
So I'm just gonna turn the camera away here because there's 2 canoes and then there's one over here.
Yep.
So we got 3 canoes in the park.
Yeah.
And what's in them? And
Well,
and what are these little houses here?
Okay, so there's quite a few things. So there's a whole bunch of native Canadian pollinator plants. There's milkweed, foxglove, blue lobelia, oh, is that right? Blue aster, prairie something or other. I can get you a list. And then these are butterfly houses, so they look different than bird houses because they have these vertical lines, and the butterflies presumably fly in there and hang out. So
Man, someone painted them. They're very. If I were a butterfly, I would move in here.
I'd be attracted to it too.
Who made these?
So Guildwood Junior Public School has a fund that they bought the houses with the money, and then the kids at Guildwood Junior painted them, and my husband put the stakes on them and also a bottom, so you can't just pull them out. They have all the soil on top. And the canoes came from different places. So the canoes came from, this one came from Miss Primavera, who's a teacher at St. Ursula.
And for everyone here, St. Ursula is over there, and Guildwood Junior Public School is right here.
Yeah, and so I'll just tell you about the genesis of the idea. Really was, my kids have gone to both schools actually, and now they go to neither. But one of the things I noticed is that the kids sort of, you know, they badmouth each other a little. It's like an old Catholic board, public board. So I really was hoping to get a project involved where everybody could come together and the kids would have something that brought them together rather than apart.
So the kids from both schools actually worked on this. So all
That's right.
all the photos that we saw online were like pictures of kids from both schools?
That's right. Bailey Radcliffe is the eco, you know, Guildwood Junior Public School has like a platinum eco assignment, and they're at the top of the eco schools in the city. So they have a really strong focus on the environment, and St. Ursula is working towards their platinum. I think they're gold. Wow. So they have Bailey Radcliffe at Guildwood Junior and Nicole Young at St. Ursula came together with me from Friends of Guildwood Village Park and put this together. The front red canoe is one of my husband's 3 canoes that I wrestled from him. God love him. And the blue one is from just actually a neighborhood friend who walks her dogs in the park and liked the idea and brought it home from the cottage.
Yeah. So the schools, so Friends of Guildwood Village Park, you founded that group, correct?
Yeah.
So you worked with the 2 schools, 2 different school boards. Yeah. Who else was involved in getting this together? I mean, how can you just put a canoe in the middle of a city park?
It really requires a lot of community partners, but every time I've done anything like this, what I've found is if you ask, they almost always say yes. So start asking people for what you want. The soil and the mulch and the permission to put them here came from Christopher Martin, who is the park supervisor for parks in this ward and is a fantastic supportive guy. He had some of his workers drop off the soil and the mulch and gave us instructions about how far the canoes had to be from trees, because there's tree protection legislation, and you know, so that his guys could mow the lawns. He's been very supportive. Of course, the David Suzuki Foundation and Allison Murray, she got us going to the David Suzuki Foundation to become butterfly rangers.
Nice.
So they gave us a day of training on pollinator plants and butterflies and the life cycle of a butterfly. And of course the genesis of the idea comes from David Suzuki Foundation. Lastly, I hope I don't forget anybody, the GVCA, Guildwood Village
that's the Guildwood Village
Community Association, yep, have always been extremely supportive of any initiative that I've been involved in. And again, they gave us quite a bit of money to pay for the pollinator plants.
That's incredible.
So it cost us nothing,
Yeah.
except everybody giving a little, and the GVCA's money, which we're always happy for.
So this is like a total sort of community. Everyone was involved in
Yeah.
getting this together. This
Yeah.
is really incredible.
Really feels that
And
way, yeah.
and the finished product is that when we walk through the park, we have these cool things to look at,
Yeah.
and it makes an actual environmental difference.
Yeah, the idea of the Butterfly Way is that over the country, there will eventually be these pockets of butterfly rest areas almost, service centers
Yeah.
for butterflies on their trip back to Mexico.
That is incredible.
So it's really cool.
Yeah.
And we have plans. We hope that it'll last for a long time, that it will have some good husbandry by the kids in their eco curriculum.
Yeah.
But we have some other things we'd like to do. One of the kids said he'd like to have a picnic area here maybe, so they could come and enjoy the butterflies and the bees and the birds.
Wow.
And I'd like to commission a mural for this part of the path. So you see the canoe behind you is coming across the path to join its friends. And what I'd like to do is commission a mural of like rushing water here, so we get that visual and be really neat.
That would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think this is incredible. If other communities along the bluffs wanted to do something similar, do you have any kind of advice to them? Like someone has the idea or sees this, but they're not sure exactly what is the next step. How would I do that? Because we do have a whole bunch of parks between here and Victoria Park.
Right. So generally, what I would say is, if you have an idea, talk to your city councilor, talk to your community association, and just keep moving forward. Often we get a no as a first response, but that's just a first response, and you can pick away at that. But specifically for this type of project, contact the David Suzuki Foundation. They're looking for more butterfly ways all across the city. They will give you the training. They'll be incredibly supportive. And then they'll hold your hand every step of the way. There's even a document on how to plant canoes with pollinator gardens on their website. So
Perfect.
start with them.
I think that's great advice. Tracy, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm going to put when we post this video, I'm going to put the link to the Friends of the Guildwood Village Park on Facebook.
Great.
Everyone go and check it out.
Yep.
And if you live in Guildwood, obviously this is only a walk away. If you live further down along the bluffs, just make it out here. Come and check it out. This is so cool. Do you have one last thing you want to say?
I want to say. One of the great questions we got from the community was, how are you going to keep these watered? Because container plants.
Great question.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next thing we're going to do is have hopefully a rain barrel that is mostly a holding tank.
Yeah.
And Miss Young at St. Ursula came up with the slogan, "If it's dry, don't be shy." So we're going to have some watering cans out there, and as you come along, if you see the canoes need a water, please go right ahead.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, fun.
Tracy, thank you.
Thank
this was
you,
great.
Ulrich.
All right.